Hi, everybody. I This is the first time I've used this platform, so we'll just see how this goes. And if you can hear me, if you are logged in, I'm going to drink some water here. If you can hear me, would you please let me know in the chat? Just say yes, I can hear you, or whatever you want to say. That would be really great.
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Hey, Roberta, how are you? Yeah, actually, while we're playing around with the chat, why don't you share where you're from? I think that's always so interesting. Thank you, Lori, for letting me know. I really appreciate it. Oh, I guess there's a little bit of a lag time here in the chat. Just that's
There
good to know
is.
too. Good morning, you guys. It's so good to see you here. I don't know if you remember, but I tried to do a webinar last year one time, and it was really horrible. And I didn't even do a replay because it was so bad. So now I'm on a proper platform. So hopefully this will work really great. And I'm excited about it. Yay, Oregon, Illinois, Nebraska. Nice, you guys. Colorado, it's so pretty there. Alberta, beautiful. Japan, well, welcome. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, my husband, Joe, some of you, if you're in the community, know him as Mr. V. Hey, Rose. He's going to be helping me with the chat. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be able to monitor the chat and type at the same time and talk at the same time. So he's going to be over here helping me. So you might hear him occasionally. Montana, you're pretty close. Tennessee, Ohio, Denmark. Wow, I've always wanted to go there. It looks so beautiful. Um, all right, you guys. So I think we're a couple minutes in. I'm just going to say I like to start on time, and I've been told with these you need to start a little, give people a couple minutes to get in because of the lag time. But I know when I'm on time, it bothers me when people start late. So, oh hey Lois, thank you for that. Yay, Florida. Um, all righty. So, oh, thank you, Laura. My hair looks great. I do what I can. Um, yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't color it with commercial colorants. I use henna and indigo, and I just when I went natural years ago, I went really hardcore natural. So, yeah, it's definitely naturally colored. Hi, Carrie. New York, nice. Texas. Oh, it's so neat there. Um, Oak Harbor. I bet it's beautiful. I was in Washington for a trip for my son is at the base there, and we had a really great time. We stayed in Gig Harbor, and it was so pretty. I want to go back someday. Seal Beach, nice, you guys. Oh, Virginia, good. This is your first webinar. Well, join me in this because it's my first real one too. So we'll see how this goes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see the slides. And see here. And one more thing I just want to say too is I've got a book for you. I'm going to give it to you at the end. And so be sure you stay to the end if you can. And also, you can take notes if you want to, but everything I'm going to share with you is in the book. So you can just know that in your mind that you don't have to, rush through note taking and everything. The other thing I want to tell you is that our internet's been, oh, Renda's in Idaho. Nice, a neighbor. Our neighborhood's been a little sketchy. So I'm going to ask you if things go black, just please give me a few minutes. It went black yesterday when I was practicing, and it was down for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then it popped back up. So just help me. Just stay on if you can, and just be patient. And I'm going to apologize in advance in case that happens. Okay. Um, so I want to know really fast. Can you see the slides? Can you see the first slide up there? It says 5 easy to find best herbs for your home apothecary. That's what we're going to be talking about today, as well as a little bit of information about herbalism in general and just how I got into it and why. Because I'm probably a lot like you. Oh, good. Awesome. The slide is good. But I didn't start out growing up with parents who did herbalism or knew about medicinal herbs. I grew up in a pill popping family. And if anybody was sick, we took a pill, and we tried not to. We tried to heal naturally if we could, but we didn't use medicinal herbs, and it was not a thing for us. And so the way I got into this is because I needed to. I was desperate, and I'll share that with you in just a moment. So, welcome. This time is just for you. Um, and if you could just get rid of the distractions and stay focused, I think you're going to really enjoy it. And we're going to go ahead and hop in and say yes if you are ready to learn what these 5 plants can do for you. These are 5 plants that I'm really excited about because you can get them right in the grocery store. This is the book I'm going to give you at the end today. It's 29 pages. Anyway, it's everything that I'm going to talk about plus recipes, you guys. So I put recipes in here for you too. Um, but it's really good to know how you can use grocery store herbs for your wellness, because literally we have things right at our fingertips that we can use, and it's just amazing. If you have a question, feel free to ask at any time in the chat. Just write it into the chat, and yeah, we will try to answer. And if I don't answer, you can reach out to me by email later on, or in the student, or not in the student group, but the community over in the. Hopefully, you're all in the natural living community. It's off Facebook, and it's very private, so it's a great place to ask questions and not be seen by the big tech people. Anyway, if you don't know me very well, I am Heidi Villegas of Healing Harvest Homestead. And I am a practicing community herbalist, clinical herbalist, and I'm an aromatherapist. I'm certified at the level 2 level. There's 3 levels. And I'm certified with boards, NAHA and AIA. One's national and one is international. I'm working on my level 3 right now because I just love learning about the oils and the chemistry, and it's fascinating to me. Um, Laura says, if my plantain tincture smells cheesy, does that mean it's bad? It probably shouldn't smell cheesy. So we can talk about that one later, but it depends on what's going on with your plantain. And generally tinctures don't ever mold or anything. So that's a great question for the student group. Um, I'm a gardener. I'm a plant lover. I have tons of animals. So I'm a fur and feather baby mama, a homesteader, and I'm a grandmother to quite a few little budding herbalists. And this little girl is my little baby Malia. I just love her. And she was out picking chamomile that day. Oh, Laura says, as we move toward more herbs and natural wellness, are these herbs that are available? Yes, they are. And affordable. Absolutely. Yes. So maybe not as important to grow ourselves. Yes, I chose herbs for this, you guys, and I've got them here. I'm going to show them to you, but I picked these up at the grocery store and you can find them there. So, yes. So does this sound like you? And this is where I was back when I started learning herbs. I was a mom. Toward the end when my kids were older is when I first very, very began. But I wanted to give them the best that I could, like most moms do. But I was worried that I was going to mess up and poison somebody. That was my first fear when we got started with herbs, was that, gosh, what if I mess up? It's kind of mysterious. When you go to the drugstore, you've got bottles that tell you how much to take. They're standardized. And I put that in quotes because people are all different. And I just want to say that they're standardized for a 150-pound man. They are not standardized if you weigh 300 pounds and you're very tall and big, or if you're a little petite woman who, like my mom, she weighs 95 pounds. It's not those aren't good. You've got to make adjustments. So herbs and over-the-counter drugs do share that in common. We need to be wise when we're dosing things. But I was deathly afraid of herbs because they were so mysterious. Um, or maybe you want independence from big pharma, just being able to have a little bit of control over your health choices and not be at the mercy of what's at the store or what the doctor gives you all the time. Sometimes we have to be, and depending on the condition, and that's fine. But for most common ailments, you guys, we can make these. We can make what we need. Or maybe you just want to save some money. Money is huge right now. The economy is crazy, and saving money with herbs is definitely doable. There's an upfront investment, of course, like in everything, but then you save massive tons of money. Um, and I can share how much I have saved over the years in just a moment. But I had an epiphany over all those years and decades of being a pill person, having that pill mentality. And like most people, I used to rely on over the counter drugs to get to sleep, to wake up, to deal with discomforts I had. I was also on various prescription medications. I had back problems. I had anxiety. I was a mess. I was a real mess. And I was very healthy. I was fit. I worked out. I thought I was healthy. But one day I just woke up and I realized how bad I felt. I felt so bad all the time. And I was so tired of reaching for the pills. And I happened upon a book in a feed store and started learning about herbalism and aromatherapy, and my life changed completely, drastically, for the better. I mean, it was life changing for me. And I still remember the moment that I drew that final line in the sand and I went completely natural. And I won't go back. And that's me, but I have felt great ever since. But for the last 10 years, my husband and I have not taken any prescription or over the counter medications because we make everything ourselves. There was about a 3 to 6 month stint where a doctor scared me into, I was forced to go to the doctor by my job, basically, but for insurance purposes. But he scared me into taking high blood pressure medications, and that 3 to 6 months was a complete disaster for me. Side effects, weight gain, edema. It was horrible. And I just finally said, that's actually the moment I said, I'm so done. Anyway, my body has healed itself because of herbs. My mind is clear. It's really great. Um, okay, so you guys, I can't answer medical questions during this webinar. And I just want to say really fast, herbalists are not medical doctors. And herbalism is illegal to practice in terms of medicine. We can practice in terms of wellness. So, so that's just something to keep in the forefront. And the other thing is, I want to just mention very quickly, and I dive into this in my courses, but herbs are not drugs and they don't act like drugs. You take a pill and it covers up a symptom, right? Herbs heal you. They heal you slowly over time. And there's a skill to this. And it's possible for anybody to learn these things. But herbs have drug like actions. And we're going to actually talk about that when we get into these 5 herbs, which will just be in a second here. But anyhow, these are the things I no longer suffer from at all. My back is cleared up. It's healed up. I was supposed to have surgery. And luckily, I managed everything naturally until I just got better. And I really feel like it was the herbs that I was using every day. Yeast infections and UTIs. When you have a messed up gut, you are, going to suffer a little bit. Side effects from the pills. Oh my goodness. The inability to sleep, grogginess, having an upset stomach, just all kinds of things. And now we've saved thousands of dollars. Joe and I had a discussion the other day. I was thinking it was around 20,000 and he insists that it's more like 40 over the course of the 10 years, including prescription drugs and including what I've given to my children and everything too. But either way, it's a lot of money. We are medically self-reliant, and that's priceless. If I know if anything happens out there in the world or society, we can go into our apothecary room and get what we need. It's wonderful. Um, And best of all, I'm leaving a legacy for my children and grandchildren, and many of my students are too. It's that part is just incredible. So, what's ahead? Guess what? When you start learning herbalism, you get to feel safe, confident, and really prepared in your herbal choices. You can experience true healing and not just masking a symptom. And that is huge, you guys. We go to the doctor and they give us a pill because they just want whatever is wrong to go away. Well, it doesn't go away unless you heal it, okay? And that's just the way it is. So, allopathic medicine with doctors, and I'm not bashing doctors. They're great. They're great for diagnostics and learning what's wrong with you. Um, but you know, we need to go in with some knowledge about what the medicines are going to do to us, because I just blindly trusted, and I ended up with severe liver issues and all kinds of things. I was on antibiotics for almost 10 years at a time because of my rosacea. And I'm very angry. I'll be honest, I'm very angry about that because only one doctor, and it was the doctor who told me I was probably going to suffer liver problems, kind of clued me in that there were other modalities out there. Anyway, it's just amazing. Judy says, "Did you go off all your pills at once and gradually added herbs?" No, actually, Judy, I was so desperate for change. I'm not recommending you all be like me. I just made a decision one day to be just done. I was just done. And what that meant for me was I was done after I had experienced some remedies from herbs that actually worked, that I made myself. And I was amazed. I was so amazed. And I thought, okay, this is the way to go. And that's when I went off all of the medications. I was convinced. So I had the proof. Um, anyway, the roadblocks, you guys, when you start learning herbalism, and I'm speaking from experience here, because I started learning late in life, and or later in life, I should say, and I it was back in the day where snail mail was still the thing. So my very first course was taken by correspondence. um, and these were the struggles that I had back then and now have now. The problem that people have now is that there's actually too much information. Back when I started, there wasn't enough. So it's there's always going to be some kind of a roadblock. But the thing is you can't trust what's online all the time. Google had an update to their algorithm in 2018, and we all call it the medic update. But what they did was they shoved natural herbalism and things like this down in the search engine. So I don't know if you've noticed, but when you go to search for a natural remedy now, what you get are the medical sites, and they scare people. So just saying, be aware of that. Um, Joe, can you try to answer some of the questions? Because
I'm writing them down for you.
okay, all right. Um, anyway, the information isn't organized. It's not easy to find. There's a lot of conflicting advice out there. The information is literally overwhelming. It's just, there's so much of it. You might not even know where to begin. You don't know which courses to take or which schools to go to. I get asked that all the time. Where did I start studying? And now I teach because I feel like it's needed. Um, which preparations are the best to use. And I'm just going to say this about herbalism courses out there. It's fairly pricey to take some herbalism courses, and that's because a lot people invest a lot of time and money into their education. I know I did, but I try to keep things pretty affordable because I want people to have access to this. Anyway, moving on, one of the questions I had is after I had bought all these herbs and oils, I'm like looking in my closet and I'm like, do I really need all these? And the answer was no. I had way overbought what I needed. And then, of course, there's the safety issue. There's the question of will they work? Time. Do you have enough time to do this? And I just want to mention right now that making herbal preparations takes moments. If you watched the videos that I gave to you guys last week, then you probably saw that it only took like minutes to make those three preparations we made together. And it doesn't take a lot of time at all. What takes time is the learning. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a mentor to help you or people you can go to for information, it speeds up the process. The cost of herbalism is actually minimalism or minimal because most of the stuff we can grow or we can find at the grocery store. And what we can't, we can buy in bulk if you choose to from good quality sources. Another thought that people have is how do I share this with my family? Are they going to think I'm crazy? And I'm going to be very upfront with you and tell you that unless you're in like the perfect family, you will have people who tell you that you're nuts when you start turning to herbs. And then when they see how healthy you are, they all want to know what you're doing, and then they as you share things with them, most times it opens their eyes. So just know that, yeah, there's some resistance there at first. So why did you guys show up today? Go ahead and share in the chat, why you showed up. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can answer a couple of these questions here. And yes, Jamie says, are there any herbs that do not do well as a sedum or glycerates? Yes, that is part of what I teach in the Confident Herbalist Tribe and courses. If you're in the tribe, Jamie, that's a great question for the student group in the tribe and the chat that's coming up on Thursday tomorrow. Okay, Lois, same thing. If you're in the Confident Herbalist Tribe, make sure you ask that about UTIs and yeast infections. I can go into some protocols for you there. Susan says, I was recently gifted a gallon of moonshine or white lightning. Can this be used to make tinctures? It can. It's good if you know the alcohol content. So you don't want to use, if it's really high, you might want to just go buy some basic vodka and save the really high proof stuff for other herbs. Yeah, Jamie says if you use web browsers and search engines not linked to Google or big tech, the information is easier to find. And I think they're getting better. I know like DuckDuckGo, I'll show up in searches there once in a while, but they're just not used very often, unfortunately. And they're still trying to figure out how to rank their websites. But yeah, they're better for learning things for sure. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, people are saying there's way too much information. Melissa says, is belladonna a safe headache remedy? I've seen this in some homeopathic. I would say absolutely no. There's a big difference. I'm glad you asked this, Melissa. There's a very big difference between homeopathic medicine and herbalism. Big, big, huge difference. Homeopaths generally believe that you can give people small amounts. You'll notice that probably the belladonna is almost minute in that pill, but what they do is they give you a toxin, a poison. Your body reacts to it, and then you have a positive response. That's the belief system in general behind homeopathy. There's a lot more to it than that, of course. Herbalism, we believe in a holistic view of our body. Most herbalists will teach with a mind and an eye on your spirit, your emotional state, your stress levels, your lifestyle, and then your physical, which is where the herbs come in. And the herbs also come in with the emotional too. So we look at, like when I meet with clients, I meet with the whole person, and then we talk about those things. But yeah, I would not use belladonna. Can be used by very skilled herbalists who know what they're doing with it, but it is poisonous. So yeah, it's one of the nightshades, and I would stay away from it personally. If you're working with a naturopath or a homeopath who's skilled with it, you might want to trust them. That's up to you. And this is the other thing, like all of our health is up to us, right? Yeah, Kathy's looking for a healthier way to live. Um, oh, good. Tara's looking at natural remedies. Um, yeah, good, you guys. To deal with weight gain, rosacea, prediabetes, and immune system in total. Yeah, herbs can do that. Herbs are incredibly balancing to our bodies. Um, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. I've got to keep on going here or we won't finish today. And I want to get through the herbs before my internet blows out. So, but you can have better health for you and your family. So here are the herbs that we're going to talk about today. we're going to go ahead and talk about thyme and German chamomile. And we're going to talk about ginger, garlic, and sage. And you know what? You might be thinking, oh man, those are just all really just typical cooking plants and spices, and they are. Then the wonderful thing is that spices and kitchen foods can be amazingly healing if you know how to do it. Okay. If you know how to make herbal medicine, you can use these herbs. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you some of the medicinal actions that the plant has. And then I'm going to share with you some common uses in your home. So here's thyme, and I've got uh, fresh thyme here. This is not from the garden, by the way. We're still in winter, so my thyme hasn't come up yet. This is from the grocery store. You can buy it fresh. Here I've also got it dried. And I also want to say all of the herbs I'm sharing with you today are aromatics. And that means that there will be an associated essential oil with it. So I've also got thyme essential oil here too. So I've got three different um, uh, process, ways the herbs are processed. There's fresh, there's dried, and there's essential oil. So I don't have any tinctures or things to show you, although I have them in the cupboard. But yeah, I could have showed you all kinds of thyme things today. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the scientific part. So thyme is from the family Lamiaceae. It's a mint. And that family is all mints. And the parts that you use are the leaves. It's warming and drying. And basically, it has these qualities. It's antibacterial. In fact, I've used it on when I had goats. I had one with really bad conjunctivitis, and that's what I used. She cleared up in a day. It's antimicrobial, it's antiseptic, it's carminative, super good for your digestive system. It's a diaphoretic, which means it's great for fevers. It's antispasmodic, mostly to the smooth muscles. So that would be muscles like your uterus or your stomach. Very, very helpful in terms of spastic indigestion and things like that. Expectorating, it can help clear stuck mucus. It's an emmenagogue, which means that it's helpful for women, especially during their monthly time. Very, very helpful. It's a vermifuge, it's an antiparasitic, and it's an aromatic. A vermifuge is something that kills worms, which is always helpful, right? Okay, here are some common uses for thyme. Infections. Yeah, I just want to say, I see a question coming up here. Can herbs be used for ear infections? They can, but please do not put them in your ear. Don't put an oil in your ear. I know some herbalists say to do that. Other herbalists say not to. I'm in the camp that says not to. I don't think your ear is meant to have oil in it because it can trap bacteria inside there. So what I do and what we do in our household is we will use an herbal infused oil and rub it around the outside of the ear and around the throat and neck area. And that really seems to help. The other thing that you can do is add a little bit of essential oil to that mixture as well. Very, very powerful. And then hydrogen peroxide. Mix it with some water, and then you can just put it in there, and it drips out and it dries, and it's really, really helpful too. So I just wanted to say that. I know there's the big thing with the mullein flower oil and garlic. It's wonderful, but please only put it on the outside of the ear. Okay, I'm gonna get back into this. Sorry, you guys, I just saw that. Yeah, this is an example of all of the conflicting information you can find on the internet, and we really need to be careful. We really do. Anyway, cold and flu symptoms. It's wonderful for coughs. It's wonderful for if you've got a little fever. Yeast infections, urinary tract infections, topical fungal infections. It's a strong antifungal. Dyspepsia, healing wounds and cuts, soothing burns, congestion, oral care, inflammation, and menstrual cramping. So there are preparations you can make that will handle those things with this one simple herb. It's crazy. And then let's go to the next herb. We've got German chamomile. So I don't have fresh chamomile because, again, we're in winter. Oh, so what I've got is dried. This is beautiful. It smells, I wish you could. wish you could smell this. It smells like honey and apples together. And I just love chamomile. You can buy it in the tea bags, of course, too. There is an essential oil for the chamomiles, both German and Roman. This happens to be what I've got here in essential oil form is Roman, but I've got the German over there. And the herb can be used interchangeably between German and Roman. It has the same actions. The essential oils have slightly different actions. So that's just a little good thing to know too. Anyway, German chamomile, if you want to get it at the grocery store, you can generally buy it in tea bags, and I think you can buy it in bulk in some places too. It's from the family Asteraceae, and what that means is that it's from the aster family. There is a very, very small percentage of people who are allergic to asters who need to be careful with chamomile. But in all of my years, I've never experienced anybody who's actually had an allergic reaction from it. But it's possible. Never say never. And we're all different. It is an aromatic, and then here's where it comes in very strongly. It's a relaxant nervine, and this we all know you drink chamomile tea to help you go to sleep or just to relax, and it's really good at that. I love using it with children. Chamomile is extremely gentle, and you can actually make an herbal bath and calm children down right in the bathtub, especially real young ones. um, you don't put the herbs directly in the water. You use like a muslin bag or something, but the baths are really great. It's a carminative. It's helpful with your digestive system. It's a good diaphoretic for a hot fever. And this is primarily because it's cooling, number one, but it's also relaxing. And when your body can relax, when you're not feeling good, you can heal better. Okay. It's a mild sedative. It's an antispasmodic. It's a vulnerary, which means it's extremely skin healing. Of all of the herbs, my two favorites to use with skin issues are calendula. Actually, there's several, but calendula, I'm going to just say chickweed, oat tops, and German chamomile or chamomile. So here are some general uses. Lack of focus, ADHD. I used to teach special needs kids, and parents who followed suggestions that maybe try some chamomile tea were generally pretty pleased. Irritability, restlessness, insomnia, digestion, gas and bloating, hot wet fever. So again, the hot fever, colds and flu symptoms, teething, colic, burns and skin healing, conjunctivitis. This is a great one to combine with thyme for any eye issues, and rashes. And if you're wondering how to do that, you can actually make an herbal tea, and you can just rinse your eye off or lay a poultice on top, or you can get a little eye cup. You can buy them on Amazon, and you put the liquid in there, and you basically hold it against your face. You lean your head down, hold it against your face, and then tip your head up, and then just rinse your eye, and then tip it back down and take it away. It works really well. I don't suggest that for little tiny children, but for adults and older kids, it's helpful. All right, the next herb, you guys, is ginger. And here I've got some fresh ginger. This is a big knob I bought at the grocery store for not very much. Exceptionally helpful. Here I've got dried ginger. Now most people are used to the powdered ginger. I prefer the cut and sifted. I don't know if you can see that. They're little bits. I love using ginger in teas and cooking and things like that. So ginger is extremely helpful. And yes, ginger is an aromatic. Here's an essential oil, and I'm going to just smell it. I love smelling these things. Ginger is one of my favorites. It's from the family Zingiberaceae, and we call it a ginger root, but it's really a rhizome. So it's a different kind of a root. It's warming and hot, and I added hot in there because it is extremely stimulating and warming to your body. So if you're a cold person, adding ginger to your food or your teas can be really helpful. It's also drying. So if you are a woman who's experiencing hot flashes or things like that, ginger can actually be helpful, even though it's a warmer herb, because it dries. So if you're a sweatier person, it's very helpful. Um, it's an anti-inflammatory, great for joints. It's one I love using it in conjunction with cayenne. which I have right here, to treat or deal with painful joints or sore muscles because they are highly anti inflammatory. They work together really well. Diaphoretic for dry fevers. Okay, so if you've got a drier fever, it can be helpful. It's expectorating and it's very stimulating to the lungs. It's a carminative, a digestive, basically. It's analgesic, so it's a pain reliever. It's antimicrobial. It's a circulatory enhancer. It's a vermifuge. It's a great dewormer again, and it's a rubefacient. A rubefacient herb. It means that if you apply it topically, it brings the blood to that part of the body or the surface of the skin, and that can be helpful in some situations. All right, next up. Did I skip a slide? I don't think so, but oh, here, yes, I did. So, uses for ginger in your home, common uses: arthritis, muscle pain, sore muscles, migraines, colds and flu symptoms, nausea. It's great for nausea. If you have children who get car sick, you can actually take an essential oil roller bottle and just roll it behind their ears with some lavender and ginger. It's amazing. Just you need to know the dilution rates for safety, but it's incredible for car sickness, gut health, balance. It balances your gut. It can actually get in there and kill the bad bacteria that we have. We have all kinds of bacteria in our guts. Most people know all this now, but there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. When our gut is overloaded with bad bacteria, that's when we end up with these weird yeast infections and candida, and we're uncomfortable. But ginger gets in there and it helps to balance it. So really important. It's great for menstrual cramping. It's very warming and soothing on the abdomen. Ear infection, circulatory enhancer. It's great for the heart, inflammation, stomach flu, and also useful for fevers. And then we're going to go into garlic. Yeah, Maria says I use ginger in almost everything. My favorite food is white rice, which is not good for me. Fresh tomatoes and grated fresh. That sounds so delicious. And Lisa says I grew ginger in the yard in Florida. Yeah, in Florida you can grow ginger right in the ground. Here where we are, we're in zone 5. We're cold up here, and our growing season is super short. But I keep it in pots, and it does really well, just in a nice window. I have to keep it wet, and it does great. All right, let's move on to garlic. Um, oh, Vera says that they used an usnea tincture on a baby goat spoil. Good. Yeah.
That was me.
Oh, that was you that replied? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we use herbs and oils with our animals all the time. And I know that's one of the things you'll hear online, don't give your animals herbs and essential oils or use them around. But you know what? If you know what you're doing, you can. And I've been doing it for years. And one of my dogs lived to be 18 years old. He just passed this last year in 2021. And I was so sad to lose him, but he had such a great life and it was a long life. And I'm convinced part of that was just uh, the essential oils diffusing all the time in the air around him. Okay, so garlic, guys, comes from the family Alliaceae. It's an allium, like an onion or a chive. Um, the energetics are warming and drying, and the parts that you use, of course, are the bulb. So here's a garlic bulb, and inside this bulb, we know there are cloves, especially if you're a cook and you cook. You can also use the scapes. The scapes are the flower stalk, basically. So they're very, very helpful. I don't have any dried garlic here, dried powder, but I do have, I'm going to show you what I do with my garlic. So I like to put cloves in vinegar. This is a half-gallon jar, and I never let it run out. I keep refilling it so that I always have preserved garlic in here, and I cook with it. I'll also once in a while just add it to something so I can eat it. But it's very, very, very delicious, and it's good for you. It tastes amazing in soups and stews, and it's like people will come over and I'll make a chili or something, and I add some of that, and people are like, "This is so good." And it's this mystery ingredient. It's just garlic infused white vinegar. It's wonderful. So, garlic is a circulatory stimulant. It's an alterative, which means it gets into your body and it goes where it's needed. Alterative herbs are amazing. I have an article on my website all about them if you want to take a look. It's also a diaphoretic, very, very warming, and actually, I would say even hot, like ginger. It's an expectorant. Nicole, I tried to preserve garlic by freezing before and it gets kind of mushy and it doesn't taste very good. So, but you can give it a try. I always say to experiment, but it didn't work for me. It's an expectorant, it's antimicrobial, it's also great for your digestion. It's an immunomodulant. So, here we'll just talk about what that means a little bit. There are different kinds of immune boosting herbs. Oh, somebody lost audio. Guys, can you hear me okay? I hope the internet's not going.
Say something?
Oh, Nicole says, yes. Yes, you want to go ahead and put vinegar in the fridge. Your vinegar garlic. Yes, I keep this in the refrigerator. Absolutely. Um, that's because there's moisture in the garlic, and anytime there's moisture, you definitely want to
Is your audio
keep it.
hooked up?
Oh, good. Yep, people can hear me. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate that. All right. Um, anyway, we were talking about immune boosting or immune type herbs, those that affect the immune system. So, some kinds of herbs are immune stimulating, like elderberry. Other kinds of herbs can be suppressants. So, they can actually suppress your immune system if you have an overreactive immune system. And an immunomodulating herb balances your immune system. This goes along with it being an alterative, which is very balancing. So, I love using garlic. I think everybody should eat garlic every single day. And I really believe that. It's one of the most healing, wonderful herbs you can put in your body. It's also a dewormer, vermifuge, and it's a tonic, which means it's great for daily use. Um, if you have, if you're on blood thinners, you need to be careful not to eat too much of garlic. You can use it like a food, but you don't want to start taking massive amounts because it will thin the blood. Uses for garlic. It's great for people who suffer from hypertension or high blood pressure, bacterial infections, fungal infections. It can help balance cholesterol levels. It's a kind of a fat burner, very stimulating and warming in your body. Oh, Jamie says I'm starting to freeze. Oh gosh. Okay, I'll hurry, you guys. It's good for cold and flu, congestion in the bronchial passages, bad yeast and bacteria overgrowth in the gut, your digestion. It's great for diarrhea, worms, insulin resistance, and it helps with asthma too, which is kind of neat. All right, sage is next. I've got live sage here. This is also from the grocery store because my sage is still not coming up yet. So here's some sage. And as you can see, you can find it everywhere. This is dried sage from my harvest last year. And it smells great. And then it is also an aromatic. So there is an essential oil for sage. Oh, thank you guys for the feedback. Yeah, so there you can use the essential oil of sage too. It's a mint, so also part of the family Lamiaceae. You use the aerial parts. You can even use the stems. It's warming and drying. It's aromatic, obviously, since we have our essential oil. It's astringent, highly astringent. Sage is when it says it's drying. It's very drying, like it's tightening and toning and really great. And that's what I love about it for sore throats and moist, inflamed conditions. Sage is excellent. It's a carminative. It's a diaphoretic. It's antiseptic, it's a circulatory stimulant, and it's an antispasmodic. Sage is also considered a nootropic herb, which means it supports your brain and your cognition and your memory. Sage is excellent for that. So, um, let's see here. Yes, Carrie, I have so many books that I can recommend for beginners, one in particular. So it's great for sore throat, oral care, excessive sweating, including hot flashes. So if you are a menopausal lady, raise your hand. Sage should be in your arsenal, definitely in your toolbox. Infections, digestion, diabetes support. There's some evidence now that it can actually help balance your glucose levels. It can be supportive for that. It's not going to cure diabetes, of course, but it supports toothaches, sore muscles, high cholesterol, cognitive health. liver complaints, cold and flu symptoms. It helps with energy. I love putting sage in mouthwashes, herbal mouthwashes that I make. It's one of my favorites to include. And generally speaking, if I need to focus or concentrate, sage along with some rosemary and peppermint and a little bit of basil is a wonderful blend for your diffuser. Really super helpful. So sage is great. Um, let's see here. All right, we'll turn this. And I don't know if you guys, I did a sage series of videos. This was a couple of years ago. If you, it's still floating around out there somewhere. I'll try to find it. It might just be on YouTube. So, uh, as you can see, herbs do work. They work in so many wonderful, wonderful ways. And I know this when people start using herbs, a lot of times they'll try something, it doesn't work, and they get frustrated and they're like, herbs don't work. But they do. So, they absolutely work. You just need to know what to do. There are three main reasons why people struggle with trying to. I wrote notes. I'm not really following them, but they're here. But there's three main reasons why people struggle with herbs. One is the information overload and overwhelm, and one is lack of a plan or a structured plan. Like me, when I first started, I did not have a plan at all. I just was so desperate and excited about diving in for my health, and it was working that I just didn't have a plan. I made all the things and wasted a lot of money. Um, and then people have a lot of fear about the time and the money aspect of it. So we'll talk about these things really fast. So there's so much to learn, and who do you trust? And I'm just going to say this: you need to figure out which herbs are best for you, and a real person can help. And like I said before, I did not have a real person. I did not have a real teacher that I could go and ask questions of and get answers and affirm my fears and or allay my fears and show me what to do. I had to figure it all out myself through lots and lots and lots and lots of education and courses and working with different people. But if I'd had somebody to ask, it could have gone so much faster. And another thing I just want to say is that you can't learn everything. No, nobody knows everything. We all need to rely on other people for knowledge and experience. And here's Matt. I just want to, I'm going to share a few students with you. He joined us in the last round. Oops, I've ditched the drugstore. And he put his Home Apothecary together, and I'm so proud of him. He just dove right in. He said that his doctor told him after this, after he started taking his herbs and using things and really focusing on what he needed, his doctor said, "You don't need your hypertension medications." And he now takes daily tinctures. He uses essential oils. And this is what he said after the course. He says, "Keep an open mind and be willing and ready for life-changing results." And if you are open-minded and you just do it, it can really help. Lack of a structured plan. I know that I just talked about how I was a big mess when I first started. I did not have a plan. But I know, like Anne mentioned, she was a student, this paralysis by analysis. She mentioned this in one of her comments. She told me she was so grateful for Ditch the Drugstore because it finally stopped the paralysis by analysis for her. And what that means is that she had so much information because she's a member of the Confident Herbalist tribe, but she didn't know where to start. And then when she took Ditch the Drugstore, she had a plan. She had help that was sorry, specifically for her home apothecary, and she was able to get started. You don't need all the herbs, you guys. You just need the ones your family needs. And here's Cindy. Cindy was a student. I think Cindy might have actually taken it in the first round. We're going into the third round right now, actually. But she said that after she took the course, her confidence exploded. And now she has what she needs and ready to go when she needs them. And she's sharing with friends and family. Which I love this, you guys. I just love, love, love it when students start sharing what they've learned with their friends and family. We've got to spread this word before it's too late and before the information's completely gone. But she says, and just want to mention here about Cindy too. She's another person who was able to get off all of her drugs during the course of Ditch the Drugstore. I was a little worried about this, and I reached out to her, and we had a little chat. But she did it with the approval of her doctor and the support of her doctor and his guidance. But she totally switched over to using herbs and with his support. And I have goosebumps thinking about this because when you can get off the medications, not only are you healthier, but you're so much more empowered. But she says she has such a better quality of life now. Fear of not having enough time or money. And you guys, I get this. When I started learning herbs myself, I was working full time, I had children at home, and I was running around like crazy. But I was so excited I wanted to learn it. So what I did was I kept an herbal book with me at all times. And if I was sitting at a swimming practice or a whatever practice with kids, I was reading my book. If I had a moment, if I was standing in line, I was Googling something back when you could get herbal information, of course. um, but yeah, I did it in the margins of my life. And if you saw the videos last week that we did, you saw how fast it is to make these things. So what I would do is while I was cooking dinner, I might have a plan to go, I want to try this tincture. And I would make it very, very quickly while I was, working in the kitchen. But anyway, you can do this. You can do this even if you have no time. And you can do it if you have very little money too. And the thing is that it's an investment. Whenever you buy a course for information for yourself, you're investing in yourself in some way, whether it's like a crafty course or a painting course, or whether it's for something like herbalism, which can literally change your life. Other things can change your life too, but we all get to decide what we're going to invest in, and it is an investment. When you make an investment, you put forth time and money and effort, and in return, you get back something, right? You get back something wonderful. And that's what, the mindset has to be. The key is to find a program where you can achieve the useful and practical information you need without spending an arm and a leg. And I'm going to show you what comes with Ditch the Drugstore in just a minute, but the value is huge. Um, Herbalism can literally be learned in the margins of your life. And I know this because I did it. Amy is a student. She's extremely busy. She has grandkids that she takes care of, and she's been able to do some amazing things. She's been able to replace her inhaler as well as other medications. She's saving a ton of money every month. And she said that herbs have changed her life and are helping her and her husband to get healthy. And this journey is a blessing. And I want to mention another thing about Amy. Her doctor had told her before she started learning about herbs that she was going to have to go on dialysis for, stage 4 kidney issues. And after she started with the herbs, she went back to have tests, and her kidneys had balanced to the point where she had dropped down a level and she no longer needed to go on dialysis. And oh my goodness, I was so happy to hear that. So not only has she saved a ton of money, but she's healthier in the process. It's just, this information is priceless. So I bet you're wondering, how do I get my safe, effective, natural home medicine chest together quickly and easily? So you want to go from from it being complicated and confusing to simple and strategic, and that's where the Ditch the Drugstore course comes in. It is a fast track, guys. I created this course to literally fast track people into herbalism, to skip all the mistakes that I made, and to really finally get your home apothecary up and going. It's for common ailments. It's not for major medical issues, but as you can see, by the students I just shared with you, you can actually handle a lot of those other things too. But the course is actually meant for a home apothecary. So here are some of the. First of all, let's talk about the format of the course. It's structured and it's step by step. So in the first parts of the course, you basically learn herbal and aromatic. When I say aromatic, I mean essential oil, safety, and you learn how to dose and give people the right amounts. Okay, and it's very important to just have a basic understanding of this. And then what students usually do is they'll go back and refer to that section when they're creating their products. Um, the next thing is having the plan, and that's where I created this family pharmacy guide, and it basically this workbook walks you through how to think about your personal family so that you can create the apothecary that you need. Okay, my apothecary here in my house for our personal needs. I have everything because I work with clients. But if it were just me and Joe, my apothecary is going to look very, very different than the family up the street that have 8 little kids. It's just the way it is. So, what we all need is going to be very different. Ditch the Drugstore was created. I created it with the attitude that since we're all individuals and since we're all different, we want to create something that works for us. And I've seen these other courses where it's just a generic like 10 or 15 remedies and then goodbye. And no, this is not that. And I help people like so. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But um, inside the course, there's how-to videos, and I've also got bonus courses also with how-to videos so that you know how to make the preparations and the recipes. There are tons of recipes in the course. So let's talk about these for a moment. These are some of the books, not even all of them, that come with the course. I am giving you everything that I felt was going to be useful for you to finally get your home apothecary ready to go. So there's the Ditch the Drugstore recipe book, and it now has a full index in the back that one of my students actually created with the book. She was very talented and did that for me. And in this book, you're going to find literally everything you need that is going to help you to substitute a drugstore over-the-counter medication. So if you are taking something consistently from the drugstore, then you got a book now that's going to help you with that. There's a natural first aid book. This is in addition to the first aid section that's in the Ditch the Drugstore book. I'm giving you guys, this is a bonus, an aromatic blending for joy. This book is really great. It's got a lot of essential oil remedies, and it's for moods. It's for your mood, anxiety, if you need courage, if you need to focus. It's helpful for the mind. And then you've got the Ultimate Essential Oil Reference Guide. Okay, so when you're working with essential oils, it's very important to understand dilution ratios and also what oils are safe for different populations because children, especially and little babies, you really need to be super careful with. It makes me crazy when I hear some of these distributors say, rub essential oil on your child and don't worry about diluting it. That's not what you should be doing. And then that's another conversation for another day. You're going to get my herbal salves, oils, butters, and balms. You're going to get my kitchen spices book. Um, One of the bonuses I have for you guys, and I'm putting this course in there because I'm just excited about it. And this is Healing Herbs of the Bible. Now, uh, these are actually herbs that were used in ancient times that we still have now that you can actually still use. Some of them are a little obscure, but coriander, myrrh, frankincense, I'm sure you've heard of these. So I've got recipes in here as well. And it's just an interesting course, very, very interesting. Good. It's just good herbal history. Um, and then let's see here. Oh, I want to talk about the student group. The student group, I'm so excited about the student group. It has kind of morphed into this really helpful place inside the bigger natural living community. And for the 6 to 8 weeks, and I'm just going to say it's going to be 8 weeks because I've realized people need the extra week or two. But what I do is we have a weekly live chat. It's on Zoom. So you get a link inside the student group. And then if you can't make it, it's okay. So I offset the times, like they're going to be on Thursdays this time around, and they're going to offset between 10 and 4. So each week they'll change up. And yes, Grace, the books you can download, they're printables. And some of them are available in physical form, like if you wanted to order these. And I'm going to talk about some special perks for my students. I don't do this for everybody, but for students, there are some things I do. Um, and I forgot where I was at there. Oh, in the student group. So basically we get together for about an hour. If you can't make it, it's okay. You just write your question into the event thread, and I answer it live. And then you can watch the recorded replay. You'll find in the course materials, and some of you may have already bought the course, but inside the course materials, also as a bonus, I've included all of the past replays from the recorded, from the chats. They're recorded and they've got a little list of contents of what we talked about. So that's just extra information for you there. And you'll find that many of the questions that people ask are probably questions that you might ask too. So that's there for you as a really helpful support. But the student group is honestly, I think it's priceless. What it's what I wish I'd had. So anyway, this is that's Ditch the Drugstore. Oh, one more thing I wanted to tell you this too, and to me this is exciting. I don't know if it's exciting for you, but one of the other bonuses is I take you foraging with me for St. John's wort. St. John's wort is an herb that has a really short harvest window in the summertime, during right around the summer solstice, and we have a lot of it growing up here where we are, but it doesn't grow everywhere. It's rather hard to find for some people, and it's also kind of hard to grow and cultivate in some areas. But it makes this beautiful red oil. This still actually has the plant matter in it, but it's excellent for nerve system support, sciatica, things like this. Well, as a special for students only, we forage in the summertime, and only for students we'll ship you some. So if you want to get some St. John's wort that's fresh, and you do, this is one herb you need to work with fresh, so it's very, very special. But we offer that to students too. There is a money back guarantee. You have basically, once you buy the course, you have 5 days to look it over, and you should be able to tell in 5 days if it's for you or not. And you can ask for a refund if you don't think it's for you. And everybody wants to look like that lady with her herbs in the back. And I would love a shelf like that in my kitchen. You guys, most of us want change. If you didn't want change, you probably wouldn't be here, right? But the most important step is actually taking action. So important. So this is the book I'm going to give you as a thank you for staying here till the end. I'm going to stay on and answer questions for you guys if you want. But basically here, I'm going to come back to this slide in a moment. And right now I'm going to show this slide here. This is where you can get the course if you want to. There's the link, https:// bit.ly/ditch the drugstore. Okay, so DITCHTHEDRUGSTORE. Maria says, I want to grow St. John's wort in my garden. Can I grow it in Florida? You know what, Maria? I'm going to say probably not. I don't think you can cultivate it there because it's just too wet. It really likes dry feet. It does really well with the dry stuff. Um, so Luke says here, take the course. It's very empowering to realize you can provide safe and effective medicine for your family that you made yourself. And Courtney, who's a nurse, joined us for health reasons also. And she said that this course has changed her life. You'll be astonished at what you can accomplish. Her apothecary is amazing. She showed pictures of it in the group, and it's just beautiful. Sandy started with me as a student about 3 years ago, and she's like very advanced at this point, but she says we have just not been sick since we started using herbs regularly. She's taken care of a lot of health issues in her family. I can't thank you enough for giving me the practical instruction and encouragement that I needed. So that's the end of this. I'm going to go ahead and go back. Well, let's see. I want to make sure you get this link here for the 5 herbs guide so you can go download. Oh, Joe's got it there in the chat. Do you guys see it? But it's basically https:// and I will put this in the student group. I'll put it everywhere after the replays are all done so you guys can get it. bit.ly/5 herbs book. You can also just reach out to me too if you came today and get this. Let's see, and then there's the Ditch the Drugstore. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. There. And if you want, you can ask me questions, and I've got my keyboard here so I can help Joe type and answer questions for you. I know I missed a lot of questions in the chat, and I apologize. We probably need to have 2 or 3 people here in the um, chat answering questions, but it's just me and Joe. So, um, okay. Yeah, we've got some questions about, oh, thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. It was scary and I got through it. No, we're getting some, we always get questions about what's the difference between Ditch the Drugstore and the Confident Herbalist Tribe. They're very, very different from each other. The tribe has a massive amount of content right now, a massive amount. Uh-oh, the link isn't working, you guys. Or let's see. Is it the book link, you guys, that's not working? Let me see if I can go and copy and paste it here. I don't know how to do this, but see if I can grab it for you. Joe, did you put the book link in the chat?
Hit the guide.
Was it the
Oh,
bit.ly link?
no.
Oh, okay. Joe's going to go. He's going to take care of that. All right. He's going to put the right link in. He just got the wrong one. But no, the Ditch the Drugstore is a fast track course, so you can get your Home Apothecary done, and it's got a lot of recipes, and you've got me holding your hand for the 4 to 6 weeks. And you own the course. You can always go back through it at any time. It belongs to you. So if you can't go through the 6 to 8 weeks with us together, that's okay. You can go through it at your own pace on your own time frame. All right. I created it so that you can work it either way. I just want people to get their home apothecary started. And not all of us can dedicate a whole lot of time. And I understand that. So the Ditch the Drugstore course is made for that. The Confident Herbalist Tribe is a membership with us that is this really small monthly amount, but it's got a massive amount of content. It would literally take years probably to go through it all. And then you cycle back through and learn deeply about the herbs. And there's, a lot of other things in there. And I show up in the tribe every single week too. And one thing I've noticed about the questions between Ditch the Drugstore and the tribe are, in Ditch the Drugstore, there seems to be more beginners. And in the tribe, the questions now have evolved to be very advanced, although there are beginners over there too. So those are the two differences. Oh, Maria says, I took the course. It is awesome. Oh, thank you. I loved it and learned a lot. That is so nice. Do you guys have any questions right now or?
That link sent in on how to relax using her.
Oh dear.
But in Bitly, it's labeled 5.
Okay, that's not good. Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you all an email that has the correct link. How's that? I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, Virginia's got to go. Yeah, people are trickling off here. If there's any questions, let me go back up here and see if I've missed anything. Ed says, I've been taking the cinnamon tincture for diabetes and it has started to go down. Is there a reason for taking it 5 days and skipping 2 days? Yes, usually what herbalists will say is take an herb in a concentrated form for a short period of time, usually no longer than 3 weeks, and then take a few days off. And then you can go back to it. And that's just because your body gets used to it. Your body gets used to the herbs, and you want to not, uh, have them get your body get too used to things. Oh, yes. Sarah says any herbs or essential oils to help with adult acne. I think the cause is hormonal. Yes, there are things you can do for adult acne, and hormonal acne is just so hard. I can feel you there because I dealt with that rosacea. I had it all over my face. It was so painful for years. And the doctors just put me on antibiotics and cortisone creams, and that's all they did. And for years. And then finally, I happened across a doctor who he's the one who told me my liver was probably shot after all of those years on antibiotics. and yeast infections over and over. I know that's TMI for some people, but antibiotics really mess up your gut, and that's where yeast infections can come from. And I was ashamed. I was so ashamed all the time of my appearance and of the fact that my bathroom cupboard was loaded with monostat. It was awful. I'm just saying. And this doctor told me about a blue light treatment, and the insurance wouldn't cover it, of course, because they want you on medicines. And I paid out of pocket a lot. It was $1,500, and that was way back then. And it did help clear it up. And at that point, again, I was like, Bing, natural things can really, really help. So that's when I really started, that was at the beginning of my herbal journey. But I've got the rosacea under control. And now when I get a little outbreak, yes, I can get it to go away. But adult acne is yeah, there's things you can do for that herbally. Oh, good. Lisa says she got the St. John's wort last year and has been using it for pain consistently. It works wonderfully. It really does. It's a wonderful, wonderful plant. One of my favorites. I was so excited when we moved here to Idaho and I saw how much there was. So, Joe, this link doesn't work here. The
Somebody says it does work, but you got to put it in a new tab.
Oh, okay. Evidently, you guys, the link does work, but go to put it in a new tab, is what Joe just said. And this the long link that he's got here, that one should definitely work. I'm seeing where it's coming from. I'll copy and paste it down below too.
And
Um,
you may want to mention how if they join this drugstore at the end of the course, they get a discount for joining the tribe.
Oh, yeah. Joe, just another bonus for joining Ditch the Drugstore because I really want to get people to start learning about the herbs. Getting your home apothecary up and going is like the first step. But if you really, I really encourage people to start learning about the plants. I do give a discount on the tribe membership every single month for people who go through Ditch the Drugstore. And yeah. Oh, and then there's also discounts. Joe does all the books, the physical books, but some of these are in physical form and they're pretty handy to have. But he gives you like an R cost discount. So the discount, we don't make any money on that. It's just purely for um, convenience for you guys. So it's it's just another. I really want to take care of my students, and I feel strongly that you know we all need to come together and do this together. Oh, good, that one worked. Oh, good, Joe. Thank you. What a relief. All right. I'm so glad. All right, you guys. Does anybody need the link to ditch the drugstore? If not, I'm going to be working on my newsletter today. I will definitely put it in the newsletter. And let's see. Oh, Danella asked, rosacea, you're breaking up. What did you use to treat it? Okay, so I've got quite a protocol for what I do for my rosacea. And that's, I don't really have time to share it here. We're kind of over time, but I will tell you that I do share it in the student group. And if you just even get into the community that's free for everybody, there's so much help in there too, because my students are like everywhere in there at this point, and they have very trustworthy information. Um, I know I kind of monitor what people say, and I'm always amazed, like, yes, you're right on. Yes, thank you. So it's not like being on Facebook where you hear all kinds of things. Um, but I make my own facial wash. Donella, I do oil cleansing, which sounds counterintuitive, but it's really helpful. I exfoliate in a healthy ways, and I do some other things too. Diet is huge. I'll just say diet's a big deal. Mary Jean, hey Joe, can you put the link to the Confident Herbalist tribe down there too?
Yes.
If you're more interested in joining the tribe and instead of ditch the drugstore, basically you're going to see a lot of payment options in the tribe. I've got it on monthly, so people can just pay monthly forever if they want to. There's an annual option, same thing, it saves you a couple months in the tribe. And then there's lifetime, and lifetime is treating it like a course where you own it for, ever, and you own everything I add to it. So what's coming up at this month? We just had licorice added to it, licorice root, really neat plant. Arnica, I shouldn't be talking about the tribe because we're talking about Ditch the Drugstore right now. But Arnica is the one coming up next. I'm working on that now. We're getting into California poppy and rhodiola, a really wonderful adaptogen. So yeah, right now I think there's over 50 master classes in the tribe right now. And it's not just like a gloss over of information like I just gave you here. It's actual books and recipes and videos. It's a really deep dive into the plant. But anyway, that's the difference between the tribe and the Ditch the Drugstore. Ditch the Drugstore is really deeply into the medicine making and talking about what individuals need to have in their families. So Robin said, if you're allergic to lavender, what can be used as a replacement? Yeah, that's a bummer to be allergic to lavender, and I get it. And that's where we're all different, right? So, Robin, what you're going to use as a replacement is going to depend on your intention for using the lavender. So, if you're using lavender to help you relax, replacements could be like chamomile or California poppy, like I just mentioned, or skullcap. If you're using lavender for the astringent properties or the antimicrobial properties, then substituting it with thyme or sweet marjoram is great. Or any of the antimicrobial mints is really helpful. What herbs did I use for back pain? Okay, so when I oh, it was so hard. It took a long time to for my back to heal, but I did a lot of different things. One thing I did was I used St. John's Wort salve on it with cayenne every single day, 2 to 3 times a day. Just rubbed it on, and that really helped with the pain, and it also helped with the sciatica. And the thing about cayenne is very powerful. People don't realize. We all think of it as a hot spice, but it contains a chemical called capsaicin. Capsaicin can actually get into the joints and into the cartilage, and there's now scientific evidence showing that it can actually start healing whatever's wrong in there. So I don't know exactly the healing process that took place with my back because I stopped going to the doctor, but I can tell you that over a period of time using that salve, everything just went away. I also used posture type exercises and, worked on my abdominals, worked on my core. That really helped too. But honestly, I think it was just the herbs. Yes, BJ, there is a start date for Ditch the Drugstore. Bye, Roberta. Thank you for being here. We're officially starting on Monday. On Saturday, this coming Saturday, I will have a welcome Zoom meeting. So for people who've joined, you'll see the event links in there. I'm going to try to get those put in there today so you can get them on your calendar for the live chats. But yes, it's starting. It's starting up. We're gearing up to get going, and I'm really excited about doing this third round. The first time I taught this course, I wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be. I was hopeful, but it's been such a success for students that I'm going to just keep offering it for as long as I possibly can. It's very time intensive for me because I work so closely with students. I do have an option as well where you can buy an option they had with a consultation with me if you feel like that's something you want to have. It's not necessary, but there's another. It's like a premium option. But no, I spend a lot of time with students. Yeah, Carrie says I've had back pain for years and I'm tired of taking meds. Yeah, it's and depending on what you're taking, they can really mess you up. The doctor had me on oxycodone, and I just couldn't handle it. I was a zombie, so it was horrible. Let's see. All right, you guys. I think
14 seconds left.
I think. Oh, thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Um, so, does anybody? I'm just looking for other questions I might have missed. Barbara says she uses St. John's Wort on her dog. That's great. Um, oh, yes. Michelle asked, can herbs help with chronic fatigue and hot flashes? Yes. And especially when we're talking about, menopause and the hot flashes and fatigue that are caused by hormonal changes, herbs can be very helpful, and so can essential oils. So, yeah, there are things you can do. And again, I just want to repeat this: herbs are not like pills. It's not like you're going to go, you know, drink a cup of tea and you're going to feel a different. It'll have an action on your body. It's hard to explain this. It has an action, and you can feel some immediate relief, which is kind of what a pill does. But over time, the herbs balance you out, and that's what's so incredible about it. Yeah, Vera asked, "My daughter gets migraines. Do you take the ginger as a tea?" Personally, I will actually suggest a tincture or a tea. I like tinctures because they're quick and easy to take, kind of like a pill, only they're not a pill. um, but teas are great because you can sit and relax. And I'm just going to mention some other herbs that are really helpful in conjunction with each other for migraines. There's spearmint, feverfew, and lemon balm. And if you add a little ginger to that, you're going to have an amazing tea that can really be helpful. And guess what? This tea can be taken as a tonic every single day. And I read a study many years ago that showed that just spearmint, lemon balm, and feverfew together, if it's used daily, even if a migraine does start up, it's not going to be as horrible. So that's really a good thing. Oh, Mel says I have gray skin. I'm almost 60 years old, and the the camera smooths out quite a lot, but thank you. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Sage tincture can be used as a sore throat spray. Absolutely. In fact, you can make a strong tea with sage and add a little tiny bit of vodka and some water. It'll keep in the refrigerator and it's also cold for a couple of weeks. And you can make an amazing sore throat spray with that. And I have a recipe. I've got probably, oh, another book I forgot that comes with the Ditch the Drugstore is the Cold and Flu book. Let's see here. Cheryl says, so maybe start with ditch the drugstore and progress to the tribe. That's what a lot of people do. But you can do it backwards too. I was surprised when I first put the first round of ditch the drugstore out. I actually told my students in the tribe that, hey, if you've been in here for, 6 to 8 months, you probably don't need to go through ditch the drugstore. Well, a couple of the students felt like they did, so they went through ditch the drugstore. And they were amazed. They actually, Anne was one of them, the lady I said it got rid of her paralysis by analysis. And so she was finally able to, use that family pharmacy guide that I showed you initially. Where is it at here? Anyway, that workbook that I made, and she was able to pin down exactly what she needed. And she finally got the courage to go ahead and make some things. And now she's just diving in. So you can come at it, herbalism, either way. Either way works. It's just kind of where your interest lies. But I do feel like people really need to have their herbs on hand, especially now. We've got supply chain issues, grocery store shelves are bare half the time. It's a little scary if you ask me. And I think we really need to, this is information that once you have it forever and you can teach other people. So it's just a really good time to get started. Jamie says, are the cold and flu recipes helpful for other types of viral infections? And I'm going to say it depends. Different viruses and different bacteria types react differently to different herbs. So but overall, like thyme that I just told you about, it's a very broad, generalized antiviral, and it can be quite helpful for a number of different kinds of things. And we can get into that. And I can actually share books with you that I use as resources. In fact, I'm just going to tell you, Stephen Herod Buhner's book, Herbal Antivirals, is amazing. You need to be sure to get his. There's a woman on Amazon who decided to make a book similar to his, and it looks really similar, and it's the totally wrong book. Um, let's see, Lisa says, Heidi, will you ever teach in person? Would you travel for that purpose? Honestly, Lisa, I don't have time. I wish I did. And I really don't travel very much,
I
except
did tell them we're trying to open up a store in North.
Yeah, we are trying. We're thinking about opening a little shop in Orofino and maybe teaching some classes, and I can have my herbal consultations down there too. Um, Vera says, "I'm Vera. The best thing to do is reach out to Joe, and he can help you, or reach out to me, one or the other of us. So you can just reply to one of my emails, and I'll help you out with that." Are the books accessible if we don't take the Ditch the Drugstore course? Lenora, they some of them are included in Herbal Medicine Making Basics, which is another really great course, and many people have it already. So some of those books are in there, but no, the Ditch the Drugstore book, no, these are mainly for students of Ditch the Drugstore. The reason I did that, guys, is because I again, it's just to save you time, it's to save you money, and it's to be sure that you get safe, good information. I feel so strongly about that because I made so many mistakes in the beginning. I actually burned Joe with an herbal preparation, and not badly, but it was. It's kind of we laugh about it now, but I don't want you guys to have to go through that. Oh, okay, you're losing me. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and just sign off here. I think my oh, Mary Jean says Cami is your old stomping grounds. That's awesome. I love Cami. That's where my church is. All right, you guys, I'm gonna what's that, Joe?
Put in a link or something.
Oh, Joe's putting in a link, so I'll just hang out for another minute or two and scroll back up and see if there's any other questions that I might have missed. I'm sure I missed a lot. Uh, Oh, Lori's great. Thank you so much. She says, I love the information and your webinars and YouTube videos. I will sign up today for Ditch the Drugstore. So excited to start. I'm excited for you to start too. I think that's amazing. Great. Um,
Yeah.
okay. All right, you guys. Oh, good. Mary Jean's planting a medicinal herb garden. It's amazing. You can grow so many of these herbs yourself, and it's not hard. It's just, you've got to just do it, you know? All right. Oh, Lois says, I'm very interested in Ditch the Drugstore, but unsure if I have time right now. Will it be offered again? Or can I do it as I have time? Lois, you can do it as you have time. And I'll tell you what, I'm I keep being told by people that I need to raise the price, and there's so much in it that it's massive, and our expenses are going up. So I don't want to, but I may need to raise the price for the fourth round. And that's either going to be in the summertime or the fall. It depends on on life and everything. I'd like to probably have another one during the summer. But again, if you once you buy it, you own it. It's yours, and you can go through it anytime. So it's just good to jump in there now if you can, but only if you want to. Thank you, Lori. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. It was so great having you here. Thank you very much for showing up. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the newsletter and in the group, and hopefully in the course. Bye bye.